What's up, guys? Teddy Cornwell. Welcome to the Underdog Talk. Something about the underdog. Today, we have the Welshman on the Underdog Talk. But before we get into this interview, you know I have to give this man a proper Underdog Talk introduction. Hailing from Wales, United Kingdom, today's guest is a businessman, transformation specialist, and much more, including that much more part being founder of the DTP training method, director and co-founder of Gethin Gyms, former editor-in-chief of bodybuilding.com. He is the director of trainers for Physique Global, and finally, CEO of the hottest supplement brand in the world, Kaged Muscle, which ships worldwide and was one of the highest rated supplement companies in the world. I am proud and honored to present the Welshman / Iron Man, the beast himself, Kris Gethin. What is up, sir? How are you doing?
Well, that's definitely the best introduction I've ever had, mate. You should be in the WWE, man. You'd be right. You'd fit right in there.
Hey, I love it. I mean, Bruce Buffer in UFC. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. But wow. And I mean, Kris, thank you so much for coming on here. You truly are one of the greats in our industry. Kris, before I start, I really am interested. And I'm not gonna. I might sound stupid. I know you're from, you're from the UK. But why the Welshman? Who was the first person to be calling you that? Because I love that name.
Well, it's because I am a Welshman. I'm from Wales, and I left Wales in the 90s. There's a few other people that did escape Wales, and that was my brother, Flex Lewis, Neil Hill. We're all from I'm from the Midlands. They're from down south and West Wales, and it's a very small population. There's less than 3 million of us there, and not many of us actually get out. But it's quite weird that a few of us within the bodybuilding industry all came over to the US. Myself and Flex lived together for a little while in LA back in 2005 when we both first came over at the same time. So, he's the Welsh dragon, and I guess I'm the Welshman.
All right. It was common sense. I was just wondering who was first, like the Welshman, Kris Gethin. I mean, I think it's a badass name, but Kris, I want to start from the beginning because you actually were into motocross at the start and then you transitioned into bodybuilding. So why the change into bodybuilding? Because it is such a drastic change.
Yeah, so I was racing motocross for about 10, 11 years. My identity definitely become attached to it, but a lot of my limbs didn't. I got a lot of injuries in quite a short time period. And from a very young age, I think I started getting injured around the age of 8 years old. And I got quite severe kyphosis in my back. And that pretty much put an end to my years of racing. And then I went into downhill mountain biking for a while, and nothing really helped alleviated me of the pain that I was dealing with, both mentally because, I needed that adrenaline fix, and physically because my back, until I went to rehab through resistance training, physiotherapy through resistance training. And then I was alleviated of a lot of the pain that I was dealing with in my back. And I started studying it a little bit more and realized, wow, I can retain this because I hated school. I couldn't retain anything in school whatsoever. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to be on the farm on my motocross bike. And when I started retaining that content, I thought, you know what? I may want to make a career out of this. Because all the jobs that I was doing, not being condescending to anybody that was doing any of my former jobs, but, it was just, they were all dead end for me. So I went to college for 3 years to study international health and sports therapy to become a personal trainer, nutritionist, a weight training coach, and used that as my ticket to kind of get out of Wales at the time because the rave scene had just started in Wales. And I was in the thick of it, and I was just doing a lot of drugs. I was drinking a lot of alcohol, and I just knew there's something in me that told me that just wasn't my future. It wasn't my path. So I got my ticket out and started working internationally as a personal trainer.
And I mean, ticket out of that, becoming one of the hottest influencers that you did as Kaged Muscle's official website puts it, Kris Gethin has established himself as one of the most versatile fitness entrepreneurs in the industry. Now, this is difficult to argue with, as in recent years, you have been a leading name in our industry. And I mean, one of the most reputable, figures out there, with millions tuning in every video for your content. But one of the big things, Kris, you are known for is developing what you coined the dramatic transformation principle, DTP. So would you mind talking about what DTP is and how you came up with it?
Sure. I came up with that. It's much like I got into bodybuilding because of injuries, and I got into DTP because of niggling into injuries, I guess. So I'm good friends with Dorian Yates, and I used to train very heavy, much like Arthur Jones, much like Casey Viada and Mike Mensa, and then later Dorian Yates. It was like the very hardcore, intense, low rep range, 6 to 8 reps, just heavy duty training. Now my structure isn't built for that. I didn't know that. I used to just train with my ego. I'd be, I remember training with Danny Chow, who was the then Mr. Natural Olympia. And we would spend about 40 minutes warming up on squats, and we'd go up to 7 plates a side, and his structure was definitely built for that. Mine wasn't. And I started having more back issues. Like, keep in mind, I got kyphosis, had knee issues, and I started getting niggling issues like my bicep tendons and everything like that. So I realized I'm either going to have to take a complete break, or let me just go high reps for the moment. But, I'll start with say 50 repetitions, but I'll reach failure there because it doesn't cause me any discomfort. So yeah, you're dealing with a lot of the lactic acid burnup. It was more a mental challenge than a physical challenge. And then as I felt better as the week progressed, I lowered the rep range and increased the weight slightly. So I'd reach failure at around 40 repetitions. Then a week after, I'd do 50, 40, 30. Then a week after, 50, 40, 30, 20, and so on and so forth. And then I'd reverse. I'd always reverse. So when I got down to say 10 repetitions, I would then reverse. I'd do 10 repetitions again, and then lower the weight, do 20, 30, 40, and finish off where I started at 50. And when I started doing that over months, I just noticed that my physique started to transform in a positive manner. I started to have a little bit more fullness to my physique. I was definitely eating a lot more food because I was just going through so many calories, and that was allowing me to put on more muscle. And I just thought, you know what, I'm onto something here. And I started writing articles on it because at this time, I'm now writing for pretty much every magazine that was out there. And people started following it. And then I had people like Mark Dugdale following it when he was at the peak of his career. And, there was just something to it. And it worked for me. So then I just started training other personal trainers in its uses and how they can adapt it to other clients that should be dealing with any issues. Or let's say you go to a hotel gym and it's pretty shit. All you've got there is a barbell and dumbbells. It's like, okay, well, you'll just choose one exercise with that barbell and you're just going to do 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 on barbell, and that's it. You're done. So it was very simplistic. It was efficient, but very painful.
I can imagine. I mean, my mind is blown at how simple but effective that is. And I think that's the whole point of it, Kris. I really do love that. Now, I want to jump forward to your role helping grow the giant site that is, bodybuilding.com. So how did this opportunity happen for you? As you were actually the editor-in-chief for bodybuilding.com. How did that happen? And then how did that help you develop in your career?
Sure. So I moved to LA in 2005 to work for Weeder Publications. So I had a contract as a writer and photographer for Flex, Muscle Fitness in 2005. Then a couple of years after that, I decided I wanted to start my own magazine, which was called Kaged Muscle, because I just didn't like how a lot of my content was, or other people's stuff was edited down. Like a lot of the photographs that I'd submit, it was too raw. They wanted something a little bit more polished. So I decided to start my own publication. So I had my own magazine for a couple of years called Kaged Muscle. And I was also doing freelance for other magazines then, and websites had started to develop, such as ProSource, bodybuilding.com being one of them. And Ryan DeLuca, then this is in 2007, needed an editor-in-chief. He knew I was very fast and efficient and providing them show reports with both photos and pictures, because my job was to then try to beat flex and then try to beat muscular development. And I'd be able to beat them a lot of the time online on my own website. So he gave me a job opportunity. I flew up to Boise, Idaho to interview for it and got the job. So then I was the editor-in-chief there from like the end of 2007 until I left the country in like 2011. And I was the editor-in-chief a little bit when I was overseas, but not for long because it's too difficult to do overseas. But that's how that came about. It was a great time. You know, that's when web or bodybuilding.com was at its peak. It was absolutely huge. You know, when I started, there was like 30 of us in the office. And then by the time I finished, there was like 500 people.
Wow. I mean, speaking of blowing a company up, I want to look at the elephant in the room. I want to talk about the top supplement company in the world, Kaged Muscle. I mean, Kaged Muscle to me is all about being a company that doesn't cut corners, one that sources the highest quality ingredients, and creates a product that actually wants to support your goals. And I did just read that off your website because I do believe in that, and that was the perfect word and phrase to go along with your company. So I have to ask, where did the idea come to start your own supplement company?
So I started, like I mentioned before, I was an editor, I was a photographer. I was used to being behind the camera, and I'm very comfortable there because I'm a bit of an introvert. So then when Ryan encouraged me to get in front of the camera, because like I was the only person in the office that was competing. I was competing as a natural bodybuilder, and I think I just competed in I got second in the natural world bodybuilding championships. So he wanted me to do a video series to show people how to get in shape. So I did what was called like a daily video trainer, where cameras followed me every single day for 12 weeks on me getting in shape. And it was during that time I realized, okay, I got a responsibility here now with the supplements that I'm suggesting. Let me just test them, because I'd heard horror stories that some of them were dodgy. And it surprised me that there was a couple of the brands that I was suggesting that were very small, mom and pop type brands, and they tested really, really good. But there was other larger brands, I'm not going to name them here, that tested shit. They tested really bad. They were under par on pretty much everything. So that's when I spoke to Brian Rand, who was the formulator at bodybuilding.com. He formulated the Jim Stepani line back then as well. And I spoke to the CFO of bodybuilding.com, Michael McLean, and asked him if they wanted to get involved in possibly starting a supplement company. I needed to have a CFO because I didn't have the money. He could get the money because it cost a couple of million in the beginning to launch it. And then obviously we had like what I believe is one of the world's best formulators, if not the best, but I'm going to be biased. So we all came together because I wanted something that tested right, but I wanted something that was healthier because we're in the health and fitness industry. But I'm not saying this about all supplement companies, of course, but there's a lot of supplement companies that do not contribute to people's health at all. There's a huge disconnect. So we started a company that had only fermented ingredients, only organic ingredients, only patented ingredients that were naturally flavored, naturally colored, and every certification that you can think of to ensure its purity, performance, and safety, we did, for informed sport. With the Prop 65 Act, you have to go through like 600 tests. We ensure that we have this Prop 65, the third-party testing, absolutely everything. So that's how that came about, and, it's something that I want my family to take, which they bloody do. So I want to feel good about that. Are we going to make a shitload of money with it? No, we're not, because some of these ingredients cost 4x of a generic ingredient. And we cut margins. We should charge a lot more than what we do, but we just eat up the margins. And, this is our purpose, is our passion at the end of the day. All three of us actually have side hustles where we make money more than anything. Yeah, we'll probably make money in the future when we sell, but at the moment, that's not really our goal. It's something that we really enjoy.
And so many people enjoy Kaged Muscle. So you just got out with the new pre-workout, the new formulation of it, Kaged Muscle. So Kris, is there anything you're allowed to tell us about what is coming down the line for Kaged Muscle, and where do you see Kaged Muscle down the line?
Yeah, sure. So just when we started this this call, I was cleaning out my teeth here because I've just been sampling more bars. I don't know how many bloody bars I've sampled now. It's absolutely crazy. Because like when we sample them, we also have to leave them on the shelf for a little while. We speed up the shelf life on them, or the expiry on them, so we can see how they stabilize. But the one that I just tested now, it's a little bit higher in the fat than I would personally like. But when I compare it to the ones that I just sampled with low fat, it's like, wow, it's friggin' night and day. So we're working on a bar, and we're possibly working on a healthier energy drink as well. So we'll have electrolytes. We could possibly have organic caffeine, so we're working on that at the moment. But, as you know, with things like that, you have to have a massive supply chain. So if we can get our distributors on board, and if people, really receive it well, then that could possibly be a winner for us. And by the way, we've actually dropped muscle now in the name. So it's just Kaged now. It's just Kaged by itself. And the reason being, it doesn't mean that we're any less hardcore. We're still going after the elite athlete. But what we found is that people have this preconceived notion, if they take a supplement, it's only for bodybuilders. So if we had, say, a guy that's taken our supplements and now he's recommended it to his sister, mother, auntie, whatever, and says, you should try this HydroCharge, it's by Kaged Muscle, they're going to go, oh shit, I don't want to build muscle, I don't want that. So we found that quite a common thread, so we decided to drop the muscle, which is unfortunate because I got Kaged Muscle written on the back of my neck, so I'm going to have that covered up now.
Oh, you see, me and you both, we both have Kaged Muscle ingrained in our mind. I love that it's a more of a lifestyle supplement brand, which it truly is, with your greens, with your electrolyte blends. I mean, everything with the protein. It is such a lifestyle brand. It is not, targeted just for bodybuilders like you. Now, Kris, I want to end this interview with, you've seen it all. You've been through a lot. You've have probably one of the most knowledgeable, people out there in the fitness industry. What is your biggest tip for someone looking to start their fitness journey?
Don't compare yourself to other people online on socials. It's like the amount of weight that people are pulling today is probably more than what Ronnie Coleman was pulling at his best. Monkey see, monkey do. And, attention span has just gone down to an absolute minimum. That's why like TikTok does really well. So people want results right now. Like, you're only going to fuck yourself over, pardon my French. You're going to screw yourself over, and you're going to regress. You're not going to take steps forward. Like, I feel, of course, I've dealt with injuries. The majority of them are outside of the gym, never in the gym. But I think of it right now, I'm 48 in 2 months' time, and I look after my health, but it's only because I'm patient. I live in the now. I try to be patient, and I'm not trying to get those results just like that. It's like, back in the day, you start bodybuilding, you think, okay, I'm not going to step on stage for several years until I'm ready. People just want those results right now, and they're just screwing themselves over. So number one, I'd say be very patient, but number two, be consistent. Doesn't mean, 5 days a week you go smash it, and then 2 days a week you go smash it in the bars or, on the whatever. You just got to take it nice and easy, step by step. Much like if you're going to market, you've got to scale your marketing strategy, and it's the same thing with your life.
I agree, and excuse my French now, Kris. You've got to fucking trust the process. And again, excuse my French, you got to love the process because it takes time. Comparing yourself is not healthy. I mean, this is an industry that we should all be supporting each other. Kaged does an excellent job of being a great supplement we can take to be a better selves. So I love what you said. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking with one of the best to ever do it, Mr. Kris Gethin. I mean, Kris, it has been such an honor and privilege having you on the show. Now, we like to get our guests out of here with some rapid fire questions. Are you game?
Okay, let's do it, buddy.
Favorite Kaged product?
Favorite Kaged is going to be HydroCharge because it just Just makes me drink more water at the end of the day. You know, it tastes good. So if I'm drinking more water, I'm feeling better. I'm functioning better.
In cage is my favorite. Something about it. I mean, right during my workout, boom! That extra energy. I love it.
Have you tried the pre-caged elite yet, by any chance?
I have not. I have it at my
Okay.
store, my GNC, and I've been meaning to get that. Yes.
Once we're done with this, just give me an address. I'll send it out to you. So I'll be interested in think what you if you like it or not.
Yes, sir. No caged pre for a year or no cage stim free pre for a year.
No cage pre for a year. I'll do that because I do stim free quite a lot.
Right.
I'm not one of these people that needs a lot of stims or motivation to get to the gym. I've got my own internal motivation, which is my necessity. I have to get to the gym. And like I'm a slow caffeine metabolizer anyway. So if I do train later in the day, I'm going to be up.
What, out of all the guests I've had on, you're really one of the first persons to say stim free and then back it up with a good reason. I love that. The motivation from the pre-workout is nice, but you already got that fire in you, Kris, and I love that. And I mean, your stim-free pre is loaded, so I mean, really, you're getting the same thing. I don't even know if I should ask this question to you. No tattoos or no caged?
Geez, that's a tough one. I'd say it'd have to be no tattoos. And the reason why I say that is because cage is contributing to other people's health.
Yes.
Of course, you know, it's great. I can get raw ingredients, but it's contributing to other people's health. You know, they say they're drinking more water. They're not having headaches now. You know, there was like, I've got people that are cystic fibrosis sufferers and they've not been able to take certain supplements in their past, but they're able to take L-glutamine or isolate, stuff like that. So I'm like, well, if it's helped that many people, of course, I'm going to have to get rid of the tattoos.
Hey, and I mean, you got some dope ass tats. The one on your vein, I mean, that one's probably the most badass tat I've ever seen. And yes,
get it done, man. Get it done, son.
Ooh, and you know what, Kris? Just because you're that guy, I'm gonna say you can have tattoos and have cage because I do believe in cage. I'll go there with that. Last two questions are the big ones on this show. First one, talk like Rocky Balboa for the rest of your life or have to box Rocky Balboa in his fucking prime.
I'll box Rocky Balboa in his fucking prime, man.
Let's go. Hey, I love that energy that Kris Gethin's bringing here. And I mean, I love it. And you know, all these guests, some of them have actually seen Sylvester Stallone in person. They said he's a great guy, but they said he's not that big in person. I mean, Kris is an absolute monster. I got my money on Kris Gethin. I love that. Last one, Kris.
I've seen Sylvester in person as well. He's only about an inch shorter than me, so we're pretty close.
All right. I still have my money on you. Rocky 2, he kind of fell down a little. Rocky 3 got back, but
yeah,
we'd even give you training. But I love that. Last one, Kris. Are you a pull-ups or a chin-ups guy?
I'm a chin-ups guy. Ooh. Chin-ups.
Okay.
Yeah, wide grip chin.
All right. I like the wide grip aspect to that. I'm a pull-up guy. I think pull-ups are superior to chin-ups. But you adding the wide grip, that makes it okay. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time, we are talking to one of the most motivational people in the fitness industry, Mr. Kris Gethin. Now, Kris, it's been such an honor and privilege. But before we get you out of here, is there anything you want to plug? Where we can find Kaged Muscle? Any codes we can run up to support you? Anything? The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, brother. I really appreciate it. These are great questions, by the way. But yeah, you can find me on, just on Instagram, KRIS, Kris Gethin, Gethin. And if you've got any questions, you want anything from me, let me know, and I'll be happy to serve you.
Hell yeah, I love it. And you know what I'm gonna do? I love cage. I almost said muscle just because I was thinking about your muscles, not in a way like that. But if anyone gets a cage product and sends me a DM, I will have a signed photograph sent to you from one of the guests that we've had on this show, just because this brand is so genuine, so real, and one of the highest quality brands. So guys, don't forget to check out Kris's content because it is so educational. Yet I also find it very entertaining. I mean, I don't know, when you said you were an introvert, Kris, I kind of had to do a second, glance at what you said. I think you are one of the most outgoing people out there in the industry. But go check out Cage Muscle as well. I mean, I'm about to hit the gym and take some, in caged. So until next time, guys, Underdog out.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.